Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to ETF2L Season 33 Mid Division Grand Final between KNOPPERS and urotzy eSports. My name is Lucky, and tonight I'm joined by the second hottest man alive, gemm on production, and the official hottest man alive, eepily, as my co-caster. How's it going, man?
That was a really professional opening based
Thank
on
you.
what I'm predicting we may be seeing tonight. I'm good though. I'm good. I'm excited. I think it's going to be memorable.
Yeah, I think memorable is definitely the word. We've got two very good teams rising up out of the mid division this season, I think. From what I've been told, both teams are relatively even on the old skill scale, shall we call it? But one team heavily favoured in the toxic Brit scale. So we'll see if that actually turns the tides. What are you thinking about this match?
Honestly, Okay, so historically, I've had some of the worst accuracy when it comes to predictions. Obviously, and any game where you predict one team's going to win, it's like a 50-50, and I'm not even good enough to get 50%, right? I think whatever team I'm going to predict is going to lose it. So I don't know if I can do that anymore. I don't know if I could bring myself to make a team lose purely just because of me being bad. I don't know. I think it's going to be equal. I think it's going to go 3 maps. That's as much as I'm going to give you, I'll be honest with you.
Well, with your professional opinion in mind there, eepily, thank you very much for that. I'm just going... Oh, yeah. I'm seeing KNOPPERS play... KNOPPERS, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we found out is a lovely nougat treat, and apparently it's the best food on the planet. But I've been told that KNOPPERS are a pretty good team. But then, when I said that, in another mumble, Kermit slammed me and said that the Russians are going to slam them. So I'm not really sure how to predict this game. But I'm going to go through the KNOPPERS roster. We have Caper, Procky, Yevon, Psychaz, Austin, and Wild Piggy. And all of those players have been up and coming for a little while now, I believe.
Yes, Psychaz has been up and coming through the low, mid, and prem divisions, doing his business. Granted, he is on a different class, and I think whenever I tend to see him play against these kind of opponents, he does kind of farm. But I mean, we don't have slackers on the side of the Russians. We've got some big names there. We got Chemical and Lightclaw. They're both part of this new wave of Russians who are bringing some of the fire of the old Russian ETF2L gods of of legend back in the days of White Glow and Death and those boys. They're bringing things. They're joined obviously with now. We have Avogadro, Disco Boy, and Slowtown. There's a name which I've been given, which is just Ooh.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
That's what it says on the ETF2L page, so that's what we're going with. His name is just Ooh. If we see something else in game, then we'll change it. But until then, he's just known as Ooh, which is a bunch of U's. But I know that Disco Boy, Lightclaw, and that lot, they're like the Generation X, shall we say, of the Russian wave. We've had... we had last season where we had Meef, was it? And we had what's the jumper main called again?
Boshi.
That one, yeah.
Boshi, Ukrainian, I believe.
Yeah, excellent jumper. He sort of flew through and did insanely well as well because he. I think they won. Did they win mid last season? They did, yeah. So let's see if the Russians can make back-to-back mid-division wins. I'm gonna, Oh well, we should talk about the maps. We have Gullywash, Badlands, and Snakewater coming up. I believe as well it's going to go to all 3 maps, but we're starting off with Gullywash. So what do you think?
I'll be honest, I'm still a little bit distracted with the fact that the second you said they were the Generation X Russians, I was just thinking about how that means they're never going to be homeowners. And that's just been playing on my mind for a little bit. I think Gullywash, okay, so I think Prolands is going to be really interesting to see because Prolands plays very differently to basically any other map, really. Like the mid is so fundamentally different. Last is kind of crazy. There's so many weird gimmicky stuff that can work. I feel like Prolands is going to come down to which team has put on their big boy booties. We were discussing a little bit. I'm not even going to give our predictions in case anyone's watching who's going to steal our internal strats, but there's some big strats you can pull off on Prolands. I think Gullywash is going to be way more DM centric. It's going to be way more of people kind of bringing the fire to every single fight. I think we're going to see some fatty off Uber pushes. I think it's going to come down to which team's been eating their Weetabix today.
Yeah, and been grinding the hardest. But we have seen this very long line of Russian teams which have been known for just heavy DM and no brain. They'll just push on the tiniest advantage. One player will go down, then they'll do a big 6-man push through the same choke or something, and they'll just try and win it on raw DM alone. So I think you're right for Gullywash on that. But if it goes all the way to Snakewater, I don't know which way it goes then. It's like Prolands almost. It's harder strategy tends to win on those maps.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Snake mid is like absolutely huge for Soldier. I think maybe just from a mid point of view, Gully might kind of predict a little bit of what will happen on Snake, because obviously Gully can be a huge mid for Soldier. It can be really good for Demo in terms of the early fight, but in terms of the initiation opportunities, it's so good on Soldier. So it might be a case of if we see one team starting to dominate the mids a little bit on Gullywash, it might be that, you know, when we start moving towards Snake Water, we'll see a very similar thing happen again. It might honestly even be an opportunity if one team does get a bit crushed on Gully, that they can be like, okay, let's actually deal with these soldiers more by the time we get to Snake Water. Might be giving them the opportunity to fix their game a little bit.
Might be huge, might be huge. We are just about to get all 12 players in the season, so I'd like to thank you all this evening for tuning in to teamfortress.tv and spend some time with us and listening to our drivel as the evening goes on. But I'm going to throw out a score prediction. I think that the Russians are going to take Gullywash, and I'm going to give a specific score prediction of 4-2.
4-2?
Yes, that's my prediction.
No. More rounds than that. Defo more rounds than that. And purely for the sake of keeping things interesting, I don't think there's a chance in hell that Russia wins this game. I think it's going to be the Nuga boys themselves. They're going to be taking it. We're going to see something weird like 6-5 or something, right? Like rounds. I don't think there's going to be a lot of restraint shown in this game. This is just going to be aggression. It's going to be rounds taken. No one cares about holding last. Just go forward and play, win the next mid, get another 6K, move on.
Oh yeah, it sounds like the game, to be honest. In a nutshell, my predictions always go out the window within the first 3 minutes anyway. So it's been known. Like predicting any Prem games, I was useless. I think I predicted like 2 games out of like the 7 I did or something. It was stupid.
Yeah, my predictions are always bad. So we'll just
always pants.
It does explain how I just truly don't know anything. Anyway, I think we're going to be getting live pretty soon. I'm getting excited. I think.
Yeah, I'm getting.
GC.
I'm getting the shakes. Anyway, yeah. Also, while we're just chatting for a while, so waiting for the game to start, got lovely Insomnia65. How hyped are you for I-65, my dude?
I'm pretty excited. I'm not like full speed ahead just yet because I got some things to get sorted before then. But I'm getting pretty excited. I don't know the chance of seeing these teams at land. I would imagine the Russians quite possibly not, but I mean, a team primarily full of Brits, it would make sense for them to be land boys, you know?
Yeah, for those who don't know when I-65 is, it's between the 22nd and the 26th, and we'd love to see you there. And if we do see you there, you can come and hang out with everyone. We drink a lot, so we're mostly by the bar, but we are getting ready, and we're going live eepily for the grand final of the mid division for season 33. And it's going to be a complete corker in my eyes, so hopefully it goes that way. But good luck, fan in the chat from these teams. And I'm going to be watching Chemical on this mid because I believe in the power of the soldier bombs. And they are making their way into these mids. And Demos are throwing out a few sticky bombs. Slowtown going in for that immediate high bomb on towards Caper, but they're getting crushed in this choke point here. And we are having soldiers bomb all the way forwards onto Disco Boy, dealing so much damage. The scouts are coming across this one. Lightcrawler trying to fight against the combo. Can't find anything, and this is going to be an easy peasy Brit mid.
That was pretty sick, actually. They denied all of that initial aggression from Slowtown. He more or less achieved nothing with his bomb. Then their own soldiers, they seem to just live so much longer. The fact that only Sickers ended up dying there was pretty great, considering how far back they forced things. They basically won it off those first 2 frags, and I mean, they built their Uber up now. There's a case that Avogadro on the side of the Russians did manage to keep his own Uber advantage, so it is a little bit equal. There's some opportunities to do things, but definitely a strong opening for the Brits over here.
Yeah, it was indeed. He did manage to survive, managed to get all the way out there, so they're going to be holding last, and they've opted for that Lightclaw NG, and they've also opted for the Slowtown Spy, just checking to see if they have a sniper or anything along those lines, and they'll find out that they do, because they have Procky, the HL sniper main, who's going to be sniping here from main, it would appear, Eepily.
Yeah, looks like it. He is a registered sniper main himself, taking down the Demo. That's questionable. Disco Boy being a little bit too out in the open now, opens up the point for pretty easy play, quite possibly. In fact, we're just in Uber trade right now. Uber's being used much later on the side of the Russians, but the frags are all going the ways of the Brits. Still no Demo up on the side of the Russians, and they're absolutely falling to pieces right now. 3 sold remaining Russian players now with the Demo just about spawning, but this is going to be so difficult. They are starting to secure just a few of these frags. The high ground is towards the Brits, and it's going to be Lowly Chemical all by himself. Not a chance in hell. Out of its first round right there for KNOPPERS.
Caper during that last push. It was so good. He peeled so well during that fight. When he saw that his demo and his combo and the rest of the combo were getting bombed, instantaneously moved back to his medic and then allowed for his entire team to do the repeat there and just peel out of that last point to get the heals they needed to repush it and to get that last capture. So well played from him after that exchange. But we are coming into our second mid, and that's 1-0 currently to the Brits. So we'll see if this transpires any further. We are seeing a really fast bomb coming out from one of the soldiers instantly onto Disco Boy and takes him down. There's one player going down already with Lightclaw trying to move up on the flank right now. Chemical goes down as well. We are seeing a bomb through with the soldier, but Lightclaw is in on top of Luca and does manage to get the frag, however, as Lightclaw takes him down. But we are going to see once again a repeat of the last mid as two players, including the medic, survive. But he is cut off right now, and he could get caught out. And it looks like Ooh is going to go down, but it's just Avogadro left. And can he frag this medic? He can't do it. Just sacks his life away, which is probably the pro play. And full ad here.
Looking pretty good. Like, these Nova scouts, I was a little bit wondering after the first mid whether it was just a little bit chance. You know, they got the timing right, but they're playing really well in terms of denying on these mids. They're playing the right kind of distances from their medic to not take too much damage, make sure they get these buffs and perfectly deny these soldiers. I believe as much as some of the initiation is pretty good for KNOPPERS, their scouts are definitely doing everything they need to in terms of these mid holds. Now, like you said, they built up this uber advantage and they're walking straight through Shutter.
Yeah, they've managed to get all the way into this last one. They did have two players, in fact, going behind. No soldiers here to block this point. Both of them were totally out of it, but they have managed to collapse nicely. Some cap time has been acquired. Zykas doing tons of damage there on the flank there as he bombed through. They're only coming in for a couple swords, but there is going to be no block towards that point. That's going to be 2-0.
Ooh, pretty swift. I feel like my prediction where I just guess randomly is looking pretty good right now. I want to shout out, we are 2 rounds in. Your boy Procky's on 18 points right now. I think he genuinely may have nearly more than the entire Russian team combined. He's kind of farming right now.
Yeah, he is on farm mode activated. He's got more points than the medic currently for the red side, and they are going to be coming into this next bit. A little bit slow for the red side to get up here. Lightclaw is pressure really heavily, but Slowtown's the first one to go down. In fact, Lightclaw still pressuring, but is taking a load of damage. Zykas alone on this mid, but he has forced the red players out there. As Disco Boy moves forward, Zykas with the wiggles, managing to avoid the damage from Disco Boy. And Disco Boy, in fact, is going to try and overextend for that frag and gets captured by Caper's loving scattergun.
I don't want to bully here, but so far there have been 3 extended fights on mid. There have been 2 extended fights on last, and every single one KNOPPERS has won. And not just kind of, just about making it through. It's been fairly confident winnings. Like, their late fights are really, really good. You saw how spread apart they were. They, guaranteed that no one could get, like, any easy spam rockets or stickies on more than one player, and they're just absolutely picking the Russians apart. Again, they did manage to get the medic out on the side of the Russians this time, so they will still have their Uber. They do get this little frag onto Sikaz as well, so they're down on the side of the Brits. Russians, the opportunity to try and make something happen now. More trades, but I mean, no Uber's getting out of the way so far, and the longer they wait, the longer it's going to be before they can get anything through these spawners.
Yeah, they're just waiting for that Zykas respawn before they make anything happen. They did make the smart move to head outside so that they can chill out and not be, in a position where they're going to get easily forced. Disco Boy is taking this opportunity, however, to serve some stickies in River and just sort of hold off that area for a while they decide the next move, but they have opted for that Procky Sniper. Definitely a smart one. They've got 2 rounds up. They can, afford to spend the time to get those picks that they need, but Procky has already proven himself on the Sniper class. We'll see if he can get any further on that. So he's now just peeking down into main. He may have spotted Slowtown there on the Spy, who's actually moved out into this lower area, just recharging his cloak and dagger while the teams head around. But Slowtown going in for the stab onto Procky and just takes him down, gets the frag, and gets the hell out of there.
Yeah, nice and easy. Denies that sniper from doing anything too much. Buys his team a good amount of space towards lobby and top to try and get through. It's a little bit interesting. There's not really any stickies towards Shutter. They could just possibly walk through main, but no! Russians are like, that ain't us. We're just going to go for a straight trade instead. Slightly better for the Brits. They're going to try and flood towards lobby to get something, but realistically, can they get all the way through main? It's scary at the best of times. Picking up Slowtown though, and this conch, which I believe is going to be pretty soon on the side of the Brits, might mean that a repush is in order, especially with Disco Boy getting completely caught out. He does just that trade, but the frags are coming in now more for Brits. They're focusing a lot of players towards point. It's only Uhu and Avogadro trying to get towards point. Procky taking this 1v1 and a second one. Pipes as well. 3rd round for the Brits, and they're looking pretty dominating.
Yeah, holy moly, that was an absolute pound there. I think that's Austin who... Is Austin playing demo? Is he? Yeah, Austin just went in and fragged. Like, coming back into that last there, he plonked down a sticky and absolutely annihilated them, and it was absolutely hilarious to watch them take all that damage. But it's going to be another mid coming in here. We've got a soldier really fast, spamming onto Victor already. A bunch of soldiers taking damage there. Lightclaw aggressing there onto Austin once more. Lightclaw having to run the hell out of there, but Slowtown also trying to bomb up here, but doesn't really find anything. And there's going to be counter bombs coming out from both sides. Dicecat is now getting pressure, but we are seeing Slowtown go forwards onto Caper. Caper with the Timmy 2-shot and taken down. There's just fights going on across each side of the point. Brocky is now isolated and taken down. We're going to have Jeffs on the other side as he cleans up a bunch of players, and that's going to be a wipe.
Same kind of mid as before. This time the Russians tried to adapt a little bit. They played just a little bit slower, and it was working for quite a while. It started to turn sour, and then things kind of just went from bad to worse as Jevon just jumps up directly behind him and gets 2 swift frags and what a sealed the mid just like that. It does look like the Russians are starting to adapt to these pretty catastrophic mids, but 3 rounds down, it's looking scary again with this Uber disadvantage. I'm not quite sure if they're going to have the time to fix all their problems.
Yeah, they have opted for the Lightclaw Pyro as a maybe a solution to these Ubers that they're going to have to go up against. But I don't know how much use it's actually going to be. They have also opted to hide you in the cabin area, but he's not going to find anything. He's just going to retreat out as the Uber comes in, and they are just going directly onto the soldier behind the point, thinking the demo's going to be there, but the demo's in spawn, and Zykaz going in for a huge bomb, does tons of damage, and takes down a bunch of players. Disco Boy now isolated, Slowdown going down, and it's a very calculated push from the red side.
Yeah, you kind of got to wonder on the side of the Russians. It doesn't seem like the holds are particularly well choreographed, or I don't know. They seem to just all be standing around towards the floor and towards the point when there's still about 60% of an Uber left. You can't really afford to do that. You know, there's no kind of coherent plan to keep control of point or deny the Uber or kind of do anything. Everyone's a little bit running around like headless chickens and definitely suffering as a result. But fifth mid of the game, Russians aggressive towards the enemy side.
Yeah, indeed, they're all like piling in there, but they haven't really found too much with this. It's still even trades across the board, but Disco Boy hasn't even gone down, so this is a chance for the red side to move back in as they're just barreling through this choke with Caper attached to the beam, and they are going to have Procky coming in behind to clean up Chemical and take him down, and Avogadro also goes down, but they've got Ooh now just on his own in the elbow area, just gets cleaned up, and that's going to be another wipe from the blue side. It's not looking good at all, eepily.
It's not looking good at all. Like you said, this is another massive disadvantage. Once again, these scouts on the side of Knoppers, they are just like absolutely farming. Like, okay, you know, you've got to try and contest with them somehow. Be it this map or next, you can't afford to keep letting these scouts win so many of these engagements for their team, because it's just like, you know, Scout might be the best class in the game, but you can't make it this easy for them.
Yeah, indeed. We have got Zykaz moving up into the river area just to see if we can find anything. We've got Ooh in behind in the lobby area, but they are just going to be coming through with the supercharge directly into last, and they're just going to like clean up a bunch of players and instantaneously go for the point. No one's going back from the Uber is still in fact active, and they are just nearly going to cap this one out. They're pressuring so hard, just Lightfall left alive. That's going to be 5-0 eepily in a matter of 10 minutes.
That's not really how you tend to want to start your grand finals. I'll be honest with you. That is the roughest Gullywash I think I've seen in many seasons. Without looking at logs, I can guarantee that will have been an absolutely huge game for the Knoppers Scouts, both in terms of frags and DM damage. That one.
Well, yes, I totally agree. I don't even think we need to. Oh, one of the players is in fact left. Oh no, we got another connect. We do. eepily, you called it before the game even started.
It's you know, it is what happens. I think while we go and work out these different connects, we can have a little look at some logs. You know, I feel like,
oh my god,
anytime when there's a 5-0, you've got to take things with a massive handful of salt in that. You know, it was a 5-0. The log's always going to be a little bit one-sided. However, I can see Caper with 19 for 1, 416 DPM. Ow.
You said what? How much is it? A bag of salt? Maybe let's just go and empty the Red Sea of the salt that you're going to need in order to, you know, stuff that into the wounds. Because good lord, that is insane. Also, 416 DPM. Hello, that is insane in this game, and he definitely did his part throughout the entire thing, just absolutely barreling through the Russian side. And there's not really much you can say. Slowtown only got 1 frag that entire game and died 10 times, which is a really big feels bad, man.
I will say though, you know, obviously, like, the logs don't look great. I'm not really going to deny that. at the same time, I feel like so much of it comes down from catastrophic mids, right? If your mid initiation isn't working for you, the late fights aren't working because your team aren't able to focus fire or you can't, move forward at the same time. Obviously, scouts are going to farm, right? That's just how the game works. It's how the class works. It's what's always going to be, the end result. So as much as this was a 9-minute 20-5-0, I feel like Badlands, as long as the Russians can have some at least slightly better mids, we might see something completely different here, right? Like being bad at a mid is one thing, and then suddenly if you can, have a mid which you're way kind of more choreographed on, especially something which, who knows? Like a lot of teams are really bad at playing Badlands mid in general. It plays super differently. So maybe we might be able to see something different here. I'm potentially clutching at straws here, but I would like to see some more TF2.
Well, from what we saw from the red side, they were very coordinated, the Brits, whenever they were doing any of their pushes, and I think that matters even more on Badlands, because you know the whole cap change thing where you barrel all your players in towards the point, and they all stand on it, and you don't even fight the enemy team, and you just sort of coordinate this big distraction, then point play, and then you just cap it instantaneously. That's just all teamwork. And I think the Brits, they have that teamwork enabled already. So whether the Russians have the same level, if they can push them and win the mids, then I think the Russians could take some rounds, but it's not looking very hopeful.
I mean, it does also make me think, depending on what kind of server we're going to be going to, I believe it might be slightly more favorable to the Russians. I think, yeah, a little bit possibly. I was thinking, depending on the server, you could actually have the Russians have high enough ping that the point would basically cap itself before they even realize. So
yeah.
It's genuinely scary times. Like last is so crazy. There's so many weird little things you can do. Obviously we've seen quickie bombs become like an almost full-time staple for some teams on this map, just because if you can have a positive mid go straight through the last, you can win a round in like 50 seconds.
Oh yeah, definitely. And also we've got the the soldier pain train factor you can have also, where you just stick your roamer on pain train, you skip jump him onto the point, and you get like half the cap. Then you skip jump your other soldier. If they haven't got anyone on the point, it's just instant cap. Like there's not really much you can do about it because they changed the map so drastically on that last capture. But rightly so, because it was a pain in the rear to try and push that last before.
I firmly believe, just since you mentioned about soldiers running pain train, I firmly believe that if you play Badlands and your roamer isn't on pain train, you're just wanting to. It isn't a case of wanting to lose; you're just wanting to not win as much, right? Like,
yeah,
it's so powerful on any map basically, right? Because you can send scouts forward and kind of do whatever. But on this map as well, where like you said, if a scout like sneezes on the point and then a soldier jumps on it, the whole thing's like done and dusted, right? That's the kind of stuff I'd like to see in this game, right? Especially if, let's say the Russians really start feeling not good at all, if they have another couple catastrophic mids, right? I want to see some weirder stuff like, like a sniper and a pyro to mid, right? You put a soldier on pain train, you put them on like, you put him on like pain train, you put him on man treads, you have him just like waddle towards point on last and just cap it out from underneath them, right? Like things work on this map which just wouldn't work on any other. And I feel like you're morally obligated to abuse that.
Yeah, of course. There's one team which told me that their main strat was to feed 6 players into last and then have their medic, if he died first, respawn on spy and have him go to last because they wouldn't expect it.
I've seen on many different occasions a whole double spy thing on Badlands last. Like that's remarkably good. Like not just for capping, like okay, so one of the ones we've seen, I think it was only last season, like the season before, the idea is like spamming quickies from main. You can air death them, so it destroys stickies on the rim, and you just have 2 spies decloak on point. Like they'll cap the point instantly. Or exact same situation, you do that, other spy like goes and backstabs the medic. Like this is like the spy map, right? This is like the spy gimmick map.
Yeah, it's you pull out your dual spies and you go in, and I think off-classing is really important actually on this map as like a whole, because like the pyro to block Ubers on top right is insanely potent. Also, it's so hard to push that if there's a pyro in the way that you don't see and you get it called like right at the last second, or if there's a sentry gun that's like managed to get set up to level 3 and the Uber tries to go into it and you can't quite kill it because it's behind a steel beam. That kind of thing really does help in the block of this, but it's just like, if you ignore all those factors and you find some way like going invisible and you manage to get to the point, none of that matters anymore.
I feel like we're going to be going live. We got 12 players. We got people. They're starting to feel excited. All right, let's do some quick predictions. I think it's Brits all the way. Let's keep on going.
Brits all the way! Sorry, yeah. Just to can't predict you, I'm going to say that I'm going to go ahead and say that I don't want to actually. The Brits are going to win this. I can't see a world after watching that Gullywash game where that is a feasible prediction at this point in time. But we are coming into this mid. Disco Boy is now rolling out through Valley. Procky is coming out through Valley as well. But Austin on full HP already. But Disco Boy eating most of the heals. The soldiers haven't really got buffed for this mid. Slowtown and Chemical already just getting chipped away there. Zycast playing it nice and slow. Managed to get a bunch of damage onto Chemical lower. And he just get absolutely munched. Slowtown with a delayed bomb. They're just going one by one and die. Ooh, managed to clean up a frag onto Jebs, but he's not going to really find much either. While Piggy is now separated from the rest of his team as Austin gets taken down pretty much immediately. Zycast now on the defense of his medic, and they do manage to take down Ooh, and that is a wipe from the blue side already.
That was an absolute cardinal sin of a mid for our Russian brothers in that the second they got pressured, we saw about 4 of their team commit all the way to the backside of train, effectively in choke. Instantly, that meant that 2 players which were forward, they just got picked apart, right? Things did look a little bit better. Some of their re-engagement was kind of decent, but they were so far back, they were so kind of disjointed at that time that really it was a case of like the mid was won as long as KNOPPERS just kind of, you know, kept playing around their heels and kept moving forward sensibly. So once again, they've built themselves up a big old Uber advantage. This time though, KNOPPERS fed just a little bit too early towards lobby, a little bit overly aggressive. There's still plenty of Uber to play with, but this is our first opportunity to get some kind of off class to assist with this push, you know? We've not gone back for quickies yet. We've not gone back for anything crazy. Possibly even a heavy push, a spy? I don't know.
There you go, Caper's on spy. Caper is on spy, as you said that, and he's going to be making his way over, I think. Is he just sitting AFK in spawn? I can't tell. Here we go, dual spy! It's happening, ladies and gentlemen.
What did I say?
Full Uber advantage. Who needs it when you've got 2 spies? But they are probably going to be coming out of spawn here. I hope so. Yes, they are. They're on their way, ladies and gentlemen, to the point, and Lucky. We are going to see a total ignore of this 100%.
I don't understand right now. Have you ever been so excited for your weird off class that you decide not to push with your full Uber advantage?
Yes.
I mean, they're feeling it. This is, I'm not even joking, this is actually the brain play, right? Because right now, the Russians are like, what's going on? What's happening? Why didn't they push? Why would they possibly want to do this? And then if they suddenly cap point out from underneath them, like, I don't know. That is a one-way ticket to tilt down.
Yeah, step 1, cause panic. Step 2, Uber trade. That's the plan, surely. I mean, I think they've spied out the sentry gun now, so they want to try and find a way to deal with the sentry gun, but they've got 2 spies, so they can't really deal with it too well. But they've got a spy decloaking on the point. Oh no, the decloak was not timed at all! It was awful, but they're coming in top right with the Uber anyway. The med on the blue side hasn't popped at all. No, in fact, he dropped.
No, he died!
Wait, he died? How did he die?
He died! They just walked in, he died.
I did not spot him die.
No one knew what was going on.
Oh my god.
The 2 spies didn't even call and mumble when they're decloaking. They died, medic died, and now once again, Wild Piggy's got is about 30% Uber advantage.
What the hell? I can't handle this game already, and he just dropped Uber then? I wasn't even spotting, I was too busy focusing on the spies decloaking at the wrong time.
I think everyone was focused on that. I'm not even gonna like say that was Avogadro's fault there. I think everyone got a little bit confused. Right, doesn't matter too much. We have another Uber advantage. This time, no double spy, no weird gimmicks going on. This time, we're gonna see KNOPPERS just do a standard push, looking towards the top left. I think.
Yeah, I think if you have full Uber, this is sort of like your basic Uber. But now they haven't actually got Pyro. They've also changed back onto the Scout Class. But we've got Caper already pressing the point, and there you go, insta-cap. Like I said, man, you don't even need to get frags with this Uber. You just get on the point with the Uber, and then that's it. It's 1-0 already.
I mean, definitely Russians made it easier than they needed to. There were no stickies towards point at all. The gun only really covered the front side point, not the back at all. It definitely seemed questionable. I didn't even see where Disco Boy was, but I mean, my man, we're gonna have to get some stickies on point next time.
Yeah, indeed, and we're also going to need that Pyro back up top right, top left, otherwise they're not going to get anything done. But they have got the players coming into mid now. Getting into mid roughly an equal time. Light Claw already pressuring across that point a bit. Got Disco Boy spanging out some stickies. Caper gets low immediately, he gets taken down. First frag of this war, and we've also got Jebs going in there into the back line, so Rocky gets taken down as well. Huge air shot to Slowtown. He goes and falls back to earth on 3 HP, I believe that was, but they are going to be escaping here. And they've got Wild Piggy and Austin and Zycast managing to escape from this mid.
Well, looking good though, because our Russian boys, we're getting ourselves a mid, we're getting ourselves actually a little bit of Uber advantage being built up. Second shall be yours and possibly an opportunity to stack towards last. So only one round down. Things are looking a lot better on this map, and maybe this is the start of some very different mids for the Russians. Peeking towards lobby now. They're going to see if anyone's just slightly overstaying their welcome. Doesn't look like anyone on the side of KNOPPERS is going to be feeding any easy frags.
Okay, there we go. I saw Lightclaw running in from bottom right, and I got scared. I thought he was just going to run straight to point and cap it, but they did have a soldier reactive in time, which is good. And they have managed to get a bunch of other players low, so I doubt we're going to see any shenanigans coming out. We might see a sack from the red side coming out potentially, now that one player is down, but we might also see Lightclaw for that off-class on Spy, which is probably likely.
I believe we're going, yeah, we got double banners on the side of the KNOPPERS soldiers. We got double conch.
Double conch?
Double conch. They never want to die.
They don't stack, do they?
No, I don't believe they do, but then it's going to go one after another, you know?
Zykaz got absolutely caught out there, just like slammed into the ceiling and died. That was hilarious. Disco Boy coming in with the super home. They go straight for this point, but they got the pyro on point, and they are actually body blocking here using this uber charge. They're getting in onto the medic, but the medic in the corner surviving, and Avogadro manages to survive this for the repush that's coming in right now from U, and the top right back gets absolutely slammed by Caper. Timmy 2-shot activates once more, and we are going to have Jebs on the other side going down slow town, now getting pressure from Zykaz as he goes into bottom right and dies. And that is going to be a nice defense there from the red side.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking right now. Oh, this isn't looking too good, but the entire thing's a little bit of a bait. Lightclaw is on Spy. He sees everything from his position. Doesn't look like KNOPPERS has any interest in pushing out, though, so it's going to be the longest Lightclaw Spy life of his entire existence right now. I mean, he's getting the info, you know? He's telling exactly what's going on. He's calling the Uber situation. I feel like we do have the same opportunity. No stickies really going on point. He's just decoded straight onto it, and a little bit too early once again.
Yeah, they've got this down, man. Procky is already down there. There's no reason why you should go for that one. I think if you're going to do anything like that, you should probably go for the medic frag. People forget that as a spy, yes, you can pick different classes. You don't have to go straight for the point on this map. You have other options, but potentially he's going to respawn on spy again because he was spec spy twice, and they're probably going to do exactly the same thing. Actually, they've opted for sniper. I'm going to eat my words all game.
Yeah, joke's on you. I'd love to see something like a weird huntsman sniper. I don't know if there's any crazy angles you can do. I would imagine not. Either way, they don't think so. We're going to be seeing some standard sniping. All the clown fiesta is going to just pause for a moment. We're going to see some regular old TFT being played in a second.
Yeah, we've got Caper sticking up that sentry gun in the spammable spot, so it's about to get immediately fragged, but it does in fact manage to get up now, and it pressures Disco Boy quite heavily as he tries to frag it, and in fact goes down to half HP, so he nearly dies there. But we might just see another Uber trade come in, because they might want to like copy what Red Team did, but they did it with such coordination that I feel like it was probably going to be a lot stronger than if the Russians try and pull it off, but we'll see what happens. They're still optimistically trying the sniper from main, but he has definitely been called.
Yeah, honestly, it's not really too bad, though, because all this distance away, he can just try and remove stickies towards point. The Uber's now being traded. They're trying to deal with this gun, but this is actually pretty disastrous, Uber. My God. The gun finally goes down. The pyro now as well.
Oh, wait. What?
Avogadro getting out, and a second frag as well. We do lose Uber. I mean, it's possible to go for some kind of repush here. Yeah, soldiers towards point. Chemical going nice and high, getting air shot as well. Uber does get used by Wild Piggy. And what can they really get with this? We do have Scats just walking in. Actually, somehow, Caper goes in 2 shots. Avogadro. Now the rest of the Russians, a little bit scared. No heals up at all. And KNOPPERS playing nice and chill. They're playing with their heals. They're playing with this Uber advantage. Not leaving last just yet, but some scrappy little fights going on.
Caper isn't Caper anymore. He's Timmy 2-shot because he's doing it all game. But we have got Austin pressing towards the lobby area right now. We have got the blue side just deciding they're going to hold Grey Bridge. They don't want anything to do with this lobby area. They feel like it's theirs now. They can have it. As they've still got Lightclaw on the sniper out on the second point. It's so potent out here where you've got that massive long sniper sightline that he can use to his advantage. But we've got Zykaz and Procky pressing that point. Lightclaw in with the body shot. To take him down. Zykaz now getting heavily pressured as U now gets him all the way back, and that is 2 frags for the side of the Russians, so already working out very well for them, and they are going to pick up Austin as well. In fact, that is a huge frag for their side. They've got Jets on the point right now, but Disco Boy running in towards the point. He's probably going to get this one while Piggy trying to block, and he is not going to do it, and that's going to be 1-1 to the Russians. Well played from them there.
Yeah, really, really good. Like you said, playing with that sniper, playing those long angles, getting that first pick on second, nice and important. Then the second they saw that Knoppers, they didn't want to back up. They wanted to still commit there. They got that second one, and the third towards Austin. I mean, you know, the first two I can understand. You know, getting body shot as a scout, that's kind of fine. The soldier overstaying is welcome. You know, you're not too fast in the class, but Austin getting picked that late, I mean, dare I say it's possibly a sign of some overconfidence here.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the cast. We're in a radio cast right now. So welcome back to this one. We are pushing into mid right now. We have got red Uber that has been popped out, and it's 50% currently to the blue side. We had about 3 Ubers during the bit where we were disconnected, but we're back, ladies and gentlemen. So we're back, and okay, Gemm's throwing a wobbly. Don't worry, guys. We'll have the visuals for you. Oh, Jesus. We'll have the visuals back for you in a second. And it's looking like the Russians are going to be pushing into mid here. They've got 100% Uber, and they are going to be bombing it all the way through choke. And Zykaz is getting out of mid right now. And the red team are really far back. We're going to see Jevs going in for a sack onto Avogadro, and he doesn't find that force, and in fact gets taken down. But we have got the Russians moving in, and they're going to take this midpoint without popping that Uber charge. Well, Piggy's sitting on 90%, so it looks like he's just about to get this Uber charge as the Russians want to push, and Chemical goes in for an actual Uber trade. Caper gets taken down on the Uber trade already. We're having starting to move forward as well, but it looks like he's going to get caught out. In fact, he manages to escape. The Uber trade is only just finished as we got the red and the blue team fighting against each other in the choke, and each team are chilling out right now. In fact, as I say that, Russians come barreling through choke because they want to do a drive push, and we have the visuals back. eepily. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, we're doing it. Russians are going through. This is the quintessential Russian drive push. Again, all the way through choke, getting some absolute giga damage. The boy Jev in the back lines, he's going to try and bide his time, try and get something onto Avogadro here. He does walk just about in, and he completely goes the wrong way. Oh my god, about 100 damage hit, but getting cleaned up. Only Procky all by his lonesome all the way on last, building his gun like the Highlander main that he is. And now we have our Russians with about a 50% Uber advantage here. They're going to be looking towards main. They're going to get some little bit of info here. Once again, we have an opportunity for them to go and convert another last push, and possibly for the first time tonight be in a winning situation.
Let's pray. I want to see some actually competitive gameage, and we are in fact seeing that. I don't know why I'm saying that, but we might see a third map. That's exactly what I want to see. I want to see some fat tier 2 all evening. We've got an Uber coming out from the top right here as Caper gets dropped down there, down towards the floor, and does in fact get cleaned up right there. But we are seeing the cap coming out from the blue side, but they did block it nicely with the soldier who's getting insanely low. Jev's getting low. Chemical leaps onto the point and caps it out for his team. Huge.
Yeah, great reads from Chemical. You know, they sent that first soldier towards point. They got that initial, you know, 75% cap or so. You know, they just kept spamming the remaining player on the side of the Knoppers, and Chemical's like, right, if I jump and I shoot one rocket, I will cap the point from under him now. We're seeing that second round, we're seeing that 2-1, and finally, like I said, this is looking pretty good for the Russians. They've been doing well on these mids. They're starting to find their groove a little bit, both on the mids and on last, so fourth mid of the game, potentially another big one for the Russians.
Yeah, Jev's going in for that early bomb, does get taken down pretty much immediately. Zykaz also getting taken down on the floor there, Austin getting low. We are seeing basically 0 damage from the red side as Slowtown just escapes right there. Procky gets left and hung out to dry and just instantaneously die. And Austin is going to get the hell out of there, so very fast mid.
Yeah, looking really good. Any coordination, any kind of, you know, big fat initiations we were seeing from Knoppers is kind of just falling to pieces a little bit. Everything is going the way of the Russians now. Okay, Chemical just a little bit overly aggressive there, getting taken down along with his brother in arms, Slowtown. They do manage to force off this Uber, and actually, Avogadro got to be a little bit worried, not quite getting his own now. Does just about get it, but they've lost those 2 frags. Surely at this point, without any soldiers to contest, you just got to back up, you know, play this Uber advantage, be nice and chill. Disco Boy, my god! Chill! I've never seen a more aggressive man who is not getting punished whatsoever. He refuses to go. He's just like an angry dog. He's just going forward.
Yeah, he's just going forwards. I think Zykaz was the only one that was out there. If he was backed up by the rest of his team, they would have had an opportunity to force there, but they just all backed all the way into last. Instead, not taking that opportunity to try and get that force off. So they're going to be chilling out. They've opted for the engineer class. They have managed to get the gun to level 2. No pyro currently because they are deciding to build the super instead. They're at 50%. They are not getting the super in time. The Uber now popped out from the blue side onto the top left area. They're going on straight to the sentry gun. Caping out onto the pyro class. Goes straight for the point here. As they drop down for the point, they're just going to cap it. That's 3-1 to the Russians. Well played to them.
Looking good. This time we saw a different last hold approach. So this time, instead of playing the pyro close, you know, they sort of didn't really work too well last time. They're playing it back towards the gun, being more kind of gun-centric. But, I mean, the point is the only thing that really matters. Playing the soldier in the rim is great, but the damage output, you know, kind of the physical DPS of trying to kill 2 guys when you only get time to really shoot 1 rocket, yeah, game don't really work that way. And it's... I mean, it's another punish for the Brits.
Indeed, Lightclaw pressuring really hard here on the right-hand side. He's not getting punished at all. In fact, he gets shot to Austin, just Timmy 2-shots him, takes him down. We are seeing Diecast bombing forwards, tons of damage in the choke now. Something finally to work off for the Brits, but we are seeing Slowtown getting taken down. That's going to be Ooh also going down. But Lightclaw still has to fight this one. K for dealing tons of damage to him and manages to knock him all the way back through the choke. And this is going to be actually a Brit mid, but Disco Boy, like you said, he doesn't give up. He's like an angry dog trying to get through this choke point.
Taking my words out of my mouth from just a few moments ago. God damn it, Lucky, you gotta get your own, buddy. You gotta get your own. It's rude, you know, but yeah, no, see, this time, first mid we've seen basically all night where things were not disastrous kind of for either team. It seemed much more equal. Yeah, the Brits did just about eke it out, but pretty close now. I think this is the first second to mid stalemate we've seen possibly in the entire series.
Yeah. I think it is, yeah. Because usually we just barrel all the way past the mid second point, you know, and that's just it. Straight on to last, you know. It's yeah, this is the first one we've seen. So the good thing about this choke point, if you're holding mid, is that you have automatically got the high ground. You have those opportunities for those high bombs to get around that corner really easily if you want to do it. And demo trading here can be incredibly competitive if you're on the blue side, because you can quite easily get caught out and stickied off because you've not got a lot of room to work with, really. And they have got Spy in fact behind. Ooh, it doesn't find anything at all. Optimistic,
you know? Optimistic at the best and worst at times, but I mean, there's not a great deal of downside. It does leave your flank slightly weaker. Soldiers trying to get through choke, not really going to happen because Scout sees him 100%. Lightclaw buying himself a little bit of space towards the flank, but don't really want to commit anything too much off this. Granted, 10 minutes left on the clock with a 2-round advantage. You don't have to be too aggressive at this point.
Yeah, you can chill out if you're the Russians, but we know the Russians, they don't do chill. They do, we push, you die. That's what they do. So it's interesting to see that some Russians have taken the leaf out of normal European rules and decided that they're going to chill out for a bit rather than just try and take all the DM fights in the known universe. But we have in fact still got that Spy. He's decided to go back to it. And he's going to be coming through towards Great Bridge eepily. Let's see if he can get a stab.
I feel like there's, you know, maybe. But I feel like the bigger thing right now is he's getting a lot of information for his team. Austin getting a bit aggressive towards choke. You know, he's providing a little bit of a distraction, getting a little bit of damage. And it does make things just a lot easier when you have this free information. And we did mention, you know, the whole idea of a Spy 2 times in a row. I mean, we've seen certain old Prem players back in the day go Spy 2 or 3 times in a row and be unsuccessful, but I feel like your boy Jeeves is oh, I take that back, maybe not any better.
Yeah, he's no sideshow. I knew who you were getting at. But yeah, he's not going to get that one. And Zycast did try very valiantly there to cause a distraction, spam down. But we've got Slowtown going in for this bomb onto Wild Piggy and lands absolutely 0 damage. But the Demoman comes in and gives him a bit of a poke on the rear to scare him a little bit after that sack comes through. But there's now 1 down for the blue side, and we're probably going to see a sack come out from Gemm or Yevs any point now, as he is in fact heading towards choke. Disco Boy spotted him, fires a sticky over his head, but we also see him bomb around the corner directly onto the medic. Can he find it? Doesn't find it, unfortunately. He goes insanely low, but couldn't find it.
I've got a theory for you right now.
Yes.
I think the Brits in that situation, I think they should just go for a demo sack, right? I mean, a soldier can play close to choke as, you know, not as well as a demo can, but he can still play pretty close, trade things if needs be. I feel like Austin's starting to feel himself. These soldiers, you know, aren't quite hitting their rockets. Why not make it easier? Soldiers shoot at the floor, Austin just jumps in, gets a couple of stickies down, easy peasy. I mean, I don't think they're going to do it.
It's just cadence, dude. I predicted it in a cast where I had 7 actually on Badlands, where I said they're going to do a cadence and you just bomb straight through choke as demo man. It's so effective. It works a lot, like more than it probably should. So yeah, I agree with you. They definitely should do that. But most teams don't see that, you know. They just think, oh yeah, soldier, let's sack the soldiers in. Let's not try anything creative. But we are seeing Jebs go in once again onto him, and he does get the force this time around. So there you go.
That was a stick force. I want you to know that was a stick force. I was gonna mention it at the time. You were on your thing. That was a stick force. He ran at him with his stick out. Avogadro was 30 HP. He was not dropping that stick, whatever happened. Okay, right, well, I mean, we talk all that nonsense about theory crafting, doesn't really matter. Soldier does it eventually, and now, big old Uber advantage. Mid to second should be pretty clean. It's only really actually chemical towards this choke point. I mean, if the Brits can take this for free and keep moving straight forward to last, it could be pretty good. They're not being exactly quick about this. I mean, it's already about 50% on the side of Avogadro again, and Chemical's in perfect timing, easiest force of his life. He's even going to get a little bit of a distraction before he goes and dies.
Yeah, they were trying to opt for the safest route there, but they just sort of gave it away by taking way too long to even get through. And Wild Piggy down to 14 HP getting in there as he gets piped by Disco Boy and Stickied and nearly immediately dies. But we are seeing Avogadro there with the full Uber.
Oh, the scout is gone in completely empty. What is that timing, dude? What is that happening? I was seeing the entire thing from Slowtown. He was just like, cool, I'm going to look at lower left. Okay, now I'm going to check towards main. In that half-second, Scout's in cap point done.
Easy peasy, it's over. Huge brain, Caper, man of the match. Just coming in there, capping out that point. That's going to make it 3-2. 6 minutes left on the clock, eepily. It could go either way for this map still, as we're having both teams coming into this mid. Procky, he's going to decide he's going to play a little bit underneath this mid, while Piggy already taking some damage in that choke point. Definitely Soldier's going to follow up on that one. Slowtown and Chemical getting ready to do their individual bombs. Disco Boy taking all the space in the known universe on this, as we have got gems going in there, as Avogadro is all the way back, in fact, but we have got Slowtown coming forwards now for the bomb. Managed to take down Wild Piggy, and that is going to be a bunch of red players going down. Some absolute crush from the Russians, and it's going to be no casualties for the Russians. And we've just got Caper, as I said, that Caper manages to get in there and take me 2 shots. Disco Boy to the floor.
I feel like based off of the crush, I'm going to name that the Crushin' mid. That was actually fact. Slowdown's perfectly timed initiation. Those 2 frags with 1 rocket, I believe that was. That was, I mean, once again, it was everything they needed. Now, they've got themselves another big old Uber advantage. I feel like if they can secure this round, get themselves back to a 2-round advantage, things are going to be looking really good, and the Brits are going to be really forced into making some dodgy pushes.
Yeah, indeed. So let's see what they decide to do for this one. I mean, they've got the power on the top right here, so I don't know if they're going to spot it out. They have actually, yeah, they've spotted it. Apparently there's a conch somewhere on the field. I didn't notice it. But, battalions, in fact. Escaper gets immediately taken down there. He does take a bunch of damage, so they knew it was there. Austin going down as well. Underneath the point, there's going to be, the Russians go straight to the point, and that's going to be 4-2 to the Russians. Very calculated and very clean.
Very clean. I mean, again, they just, they go towards point. They really have the number on this one soldier playing on the little lamp. It just doesn't do enough. It doesn't actually deny the point enough to really be worth him playing that position. It's effectively no real safety when it comes to denying the cap. I feel like right now, the Russians of old, Badlands was their map. There was then a trail-off for seasons and seasons as Badlands, was left played. I feel like this might be the return of the Russian Badlands.
It could be indeed, as you said, Crushins. But Zykaz is under the bridge right now, cowering in fears. He is very low, but we are seeing a complete crush, actually, from the Brits this time. Well, Piggy's going for as long as he can, but Slowtown manages to actually find that frag. He had no business getting that kill, but Lightclaw getting cleaned up towards the back of that one. But holy moly, I did not expect Wild Piggy to go down there.
I feel like right now the only thing that matters on the side of the Russians, Avogadro and co, is just going to be sitting there like, right, we have ourselves a big old, well, 90-something% advantage. There are 3 minutes, 57 seconds left on the clock. If they play this advantage sensibly, if they sit up and turtle up, they will have this game in the bag. Right now, the opposition for the Russians, it isn't the Brits. It's 100% just the clock.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. We are seeing the Lightclaw Engineer coming up, as they are opting to actually hold this last. They don't want to push out of this one, it would appear. And Austin is getting hit by this gun. They've now spotted it out, of course, because it has been firing rapidly towards the red side. So they need to come up with a formula for taking down the sentry gun. In fact, they are looking to sort of angle an Uber here with in towards Austin. They know they have this large ad that they can play with, and they are actually Ubering directly in. The overextension from the red players getting the best of them. Zykas trying to escape. It does get immediately cleaned up, but they are trying to wrap them here, but they can't wrap into a sentry gun. And in fact, they are just baiting the rest of their team. Caper is running Wild Piggy out of this last point and back out towards the spire area, and that's going to retain that 100% Uber advantage now for Wild Piggy, so good escape from him.
Oh, that's so scary. I didn't think the Russians were going to go for that at all. I mean, they got 2 frags, but without killing the medic, they basically just bought themselves an opportunity to lose this round. It's pretty scary stuff. We do have Chemical trying his best, trying to build up a little bit of his conch, but I mean, what can a little bit of health do against pure invulnerability? This time, Does look like they're going to peek a little bit on the top right. They've just about got this Uber
nice.
runs down as well. They do now get forced. Pyro's going to be the first person to deal with. He's actually denying incredibly well. This might be looking pretty good. Uber's about to fade. These players moving towards point, but Lightfall, he's still 450. He's heavy. He's fat. He's standing around. He can do whatever he wants. And they're just starting to kind of cross him a little bit now, though. Playing towards point. Just a cap it from underneath them again.
Yeah, it's just Badlands, dude. Badlands. That was kind of sick, actually, from the red side. They knew that their Uber didn't go too well after they took it top left, but they got all the frags that were actually still on top left, and they've rotated to top right immediately after their Uber had faded. So that was just a good read from them on that last push. They managed to take all the high ground. None of them were left on the low ground from that last push as well, so it was just well played from them. Disco Boy actually pulls a Moomer and doesn't do very well in this rollout. Austin is in fact before him and gets some damage onto these scouts so they can't aggress as hard. Caper in fact knocks Lightclaw in even lower, so he's not having a very good move right now. Caper is pressuring onto Slowtown, who is on this shithouse area, but no frags getting traded either side right now. We have got Jebs just pushing forwards here. Bird Soldier's going in for a bomb here as tons of damage is dealt across all the point right now, and Austin is now getting focused hard by Chemical, but in fact they do manage to clean him up, and it's going to be Brits taking this mid.
Oh, this is so scary. You saw, like, the Russians, they were absolutely terrified of losing that mid in a catastrophic fashion. Basically, their heals didn't really get there, you know. As soon as he got to mid, he was already in choke, just like, nah, man, I don't want this at all. Building up his Uber again. It's 1 minute, 10 seconds, and I feel like we're going to see some really weird point plays. We're going to see, like, the trade, point play, everything absolutely on the side of the Brits.
Oh, my God. I just witnessed something horrible.
It was a scout class.
Yeah, U was fighting against Zykaz in lobby, and Avogadro arrows him after Zykaz lands the like killing rocket and just heals him back to full HP.
It's filthy. It's filthy.
Yeah.
Uber's getting used and traded as well. Both teams basically the same kind of thing. Point. Oh my God, being played already, but they've lost those 2 frags on the side of the Brits. Now this gun still alive, just about towards the floor. The repush, it is possible. The spawners, though, this new look Badlands is going to make it difficult to get both scouts up. Austin peeking towards main, getting a little bit of damage, getting down Lightclaw as well. Still, this gun to deal with the heals to deal with. 20 seconds left on the clock. Oh. And there's no heals at all now for the side of the Brits. This is going to be so hard. It's all about Avogadro just keeping his players buffed, keeping them healed, and just playing super steady for these remaining 15 seconds. And it is all go now. Just Jevs jumping through straight towards point. 2 so. What can he do? And can Cape even get there? He's just got to go in every single meat shot. It's not a thing. And this will be Russians securing the second map. Looks like we're going to 3.
Yep, that's it. 4-3. Well played from the Russians during that game. They managed to find their feeting finally and make it back into this game. So just with the tilt denied to Caper, annihilating all chances of that happening. But that's a huge GG for that game. That was an excellent game to watch from my perspective. Loads of rounds transpired. We're sorry that in the middle of that we sort of cut out, but you know, shit happens. But yeah, so I want to see the logs for this one.
This whole time we've got Gem whispering in our ear words of encouragement. Such I won't repeat what he says. Yeah, we've got some logs to look at, and this time these numbers are actually gonna make so much more of a difference. Before we get to the logs, though, I'm gonna shout out the fact that genuinely, you know, even in a game, I don't know, based on like some of the trash talk the teams have been saying in pregame, you know, some of them is like, oh yeah, you know, we're not really carrying too much, we're just like a random whatever, like no scrim team, whatever. Like even still, it takes resilience to get 5-0'd in 9 minutes and then come back and play as steady as the Russians did that game. Like 100% deserved that game. 100%.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've had some knockbacks before where you just get 5-0'd and like honestly the mental capacity to be able to like go straight through and be able to come back is nutty and insane. So it's something that they should definitely hold as a way to come back in this last game, in fact, because they've got Snakewater to play now. So I feel like if they carry this momentum of that win on their back and they're feeling good about how they played on Badlands, then it can definitely show on Snakewater. But the Brits, equally, they're going to be thinking, oh yeah, these guys have actually just beaten us, and maybe we shouldn't get so cocky about how we played in the first half of that Badlands game or at all on Gullywash. So I can't honestly predict how this is going to go, but both teams are playing incredibly well, so I'm excited to see how the game goes. But we have got logs for this game.
Lucky. I feel like we've had not a complete turnaround. You know, it was obviously pretty equal. It isn't like we suddenly saw the Russians absolute pounding, but there's 2 stats I want to shout out right now, right? Firstly, Disco Boy, as aggressive as he was not getting denied. That boy went 18 for 3, right? Woo. That's significant. He had about 2k more damage than anyone else on the field. That is really significant, especially when your demo counterpart goes 9 for 13, right? 18 for 3 is like nutty stats to have on a demo, man. And just in terms of the consistency of having that demo live, super important. I think the most important part of the whole thing, though, is the fact that Procky on the side of the Brits, we're talking 5 for 12. I did see him lagging a good amount back and forth. I don't think his connection is the best right now, but ultimately we saw the scouts on the side of Noppers absolutely dominate the entirety of Gullywash. But Badlands, they were nowhere near having the same presence. And I truly believe that that's why the Russians were so much more able to kind of do things. Either they were playing to not get denied as hard, or maybe the scouts weren't quite as comfortable playing Badlands. It is a less scout-centric map, but whatever it was, it's kind of, it's night and day. These late fights were going the way of Russians in a way that we would never see on Gullywash.
Yeah, I totally agree about all those aspects, like the demo man surviving and stuff. Having traps up all the time, big. Like, they were like taking so long to get through in a lot of places, just because Disco Boy was alive the entire time. And Austin equally dealt quite a lot of damage, but Disco Boy up there with a 343 DPM, like smacking down the scouts in the mids, was honestly one of the carrying factors for the mid fights, and also going on to Disco Boy quite a lot. Once more, while Piggy took a lot of damage during the mid fights just from stickies at range. So I think just Disco Boy man of the match for that one. But I'm not sure there's anything that you haven't covered that I don't agree with.
I mean, we could always make things up, or we could go on to our final map of the night and start talking a little bit about Snakewater, what this is going to mean for our two different teams, and
oh yeah,
possibly some predictions again. I said a little bit about how Snake can be a huge mid for soldier aggression in a similar way, not yeah, let's say in a similar way to Gullywash. It isn't the kind of a be all and end all of how you approach your mid, but having a good initiation and having at least one of your soldiers survive long enough to take the high ground in the late game, really, really important. Now, we saw the soldiers on the side of Noppers just absolutely decimate every single engagement basically on Gullywash. I feel like if they start doing the same here again, more or less, it's same kind of thing as I predicted earlier, right? Like, that's going to be something that the Russians immediately adapt to. Otherwise, they're going to get too far behind way too early.
Yeah, I totally agree. But Zykhaz and Jevs, they were doing really well on Badlands as well. They just didn't have all that room to play with that they had to play with on Gullywash. So hopefully, we're going to see some plays coming out from them. I reckon they're going to have some really organized mids. They're going to throw out some high bombs, do some really interesting going behind stuff. But it's all about how the Russians react to how the Brits play on this map, I think, more than anything else, because they might react really badly and not understand what they're supposed to do in certain situations, because they're bringing that Zykhaz brain into play on these mid-fights, I believe, at least. He's had a lot of experience in the game and has probably map talked his team to death, and they are probably very drilled and understand what they need to do on these mid-fights. So I think it's going to come down to mainly the mids of this map. I think on the seconds, if it becomes a mid to second stalemate, we could see a stalemate for a very long time, because they really struggled to break the stalemates before on Badlands, where you have lots of room, but on Snakewater, where you have even less room, it's even harder to break the stalemates. So I think the Russians are going to struggle here a little bit dealing with the Brit brains.
Quite possibly. I don't know. See, like, if we went into this directly after Gullywash, I would basically be in that situation where I'm like, we saw some really good coordinated play from Noppers. Maybe it's just a case of, they can't really contest it, but since the two teams seem to play so differently based on which map they're on, I think it's going to come down to, like, either which team is putting the most legwork, or if they're not teams that have been putting in legwork, which team, have the players who enjoy and, like, play the best on the map themselves. I really feel like it could just be a coin toss.
Yeah, honestly. The only way I'm going to be able to predict this, by the way, if I'm going to throw a scoreline out there as the team's starting to get in, I'm going to say it's going to be 4-4. Golden cap. And then the Brits are going to win.
Oh my god. A golden cap on map 3 after that first map would, I think that would give me some kind of heart attack.
As Jim said, I don't get paid for overtime.
You don't, and yet, you're going to do it anyway, right? You're going to do it because you love it. As much as I hate making predictions where inevitably I'm going to be wrong, I think the Gullywash mids were too strong, and it was too similar in terms of how you approach it for Snake to go the way of the Russians. I think this will go the way of Noppers, and I think it will be in regular time. I don't know if it's going to be by 2 rounds or 4. I would say, you know, something like a 4-2.
Yeah, that's a good prediction right there. Like 40 is a pretty solid one if you don't know which way it's going to go. But we are just waiting for Zycast to pop his butt into the server. So we'd like to thank you all once more for joining us. This is map number 3 of 3 in this best of 3 series between the Russians and KNOPPERS grand final for the mid division. So I mean, it's been a good one. It's been a good match so far. Looking forward to this third map, and not really much else to say. But I'm gonna throw this up there. Apparently, KNOPPERS are a delightful nougat treat.
Yeah, I've heard that from literally one person today, and that was you. So there you go.
Well, I heard that from you, so I don't know why you heard it from me.
What? No, you heard it from Sikas.
Oh yeah, he said they were the best food on the planet. So if anyone wants to have a delightful treat, KNOPPERS are apparently the one for you, ladies and gentlemen. We're not sponsored.
If only, dude. If only we were living in that world. Right, well, whatever happens, this will be the final map of the night. So I'm hoping at least for some competitive stuff. Like I said before, right? I feel like if things aren't going your way, you need to embrace the world of crazy stuff. We saw some decent little things. The fact that we saw, as of a minute in, double spy, I appreciated that. It's a shame it didn't work out, but I appreciated the effort. I think, same as I've said before so many times, if you go like 3 mids down or something, and you just can't crack the defense, you've just got to do weird stuff. Like,
oh yeah,
sniper to mid isn't even that bad on Snake Water. Like, it's pretty important to get an early shot, otherwise you can get denied. But well, we'll see what happens. Here we go.
We are going live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to map number 3. This could go either way between the Russians and the Brits. Everything is on the line for this mid-division grand final as our teams are making their way into mid. Jebs is the first one into this one, but Disco Boy also following up the rear, but we've just got Jebs sitting in the corner there, not spotting out as he's not spamming. We've got Chemical popping in early onto Austin and takes him down immediately. He's the first frag of this one. We've got Soldier dropping down from the top of the point, just onto these scouts, not finding much, but Lightfall gets taken down as a return. But we've got Wild Piggy trying to escape here, does manage to get taken down by Chemical there. Very unfortunate as Avogadro has managed to survive that one, but Caper now fighting against Slowtown as, oh, good. Does not find the frag onto Caper.
Really, really nice initiation, and I mean, like, I don't understand how they had that good of an initiation, the Russians, and then they still had both soldiers behind the flank as well. I didn't even see quite how that worked out, but I mean, the end result is pretty clear to see. 90% Uber advantage and an opportunity to perhaps get a nice, clean early round. Moving towards grass, always the easiest way to start taking some positions. Only really snipers and soldiers you got to worry about. And we do see Jebs, he's jumping in, he's getting actually really deep towards Avogadro, but only one little rocket hit. No Uber's going to get used there, and rolling straight through second is going to be the aim of the game. But they can't wait too long. 65% of Wild Piggy.
Yeah, he might in fact get this one. If they do the rotation correctly, they can definitely get this Uber. There's been loads of times where medics have managed to get Ubers from this point. But the Russians are now popping in, but Wild Piggy is in fact not rotating at all and gets absolutely slammed and taken down. And this is looking very good for the Russians right now as they're starting to collapse onto this point, realizing there's no one to really protect their apart from scouts. Soldier bombs in and doesn't find anything. And that's going to be 1-0 to the Russians, starting out this game 2 minutes in.
That was really, really nice. It was a super, super crispy Uber. They managed to focus down Austin really early, and then there was no one else to play with Piggy at all. Absolutely nothing at all. Crispy little 2-shot from your boy Ooh, and that basically secured last right there and then. So, like I said, 2 minutes, 1 round, looking pretty good. It's always nice. It's always nice as a team to get yourself a little cushion, you know, a little round advantage cushion, especially early on, because it takes the pressure off.
Yeah, indeed. We've got Zycast pressuring on that top left area against Slowtown and Sandy Lobo. Also in the bomb through from Chemical. A little bit out of sync there as Slowtown got massively nuked in that one. But onto Wild Piggy goes Chemical, and he does get taken down. Lightclaw getting fragged by Procky. And that is going to be the Russians escaping out of this mid as Avogadro did survive with a Scalaboo.
Yeah, he's going to be running all the way, hightailing all the way back to last. No interest at all getting caught towards second. And honestly, there's not really much you can do. You know, as a scout towards second, you can get a little bit of vision, and that's about it. So they're going to be playing nice and safe now, getting themselves up their Uber, getting themselves up a little engineer as well. It's very possible we'll see a foothold. It's something we don't actually see a great deal of teams do. You know, even against a sniper, a lot of medics will just play this same kind of sniper spot that Avogadro is playing in now instead of playing forward towards this little hut. I feel like, especially with Disco playing towards right, or at least watching some stickies there, might be something they want to go for.
Potentially. They've got Procky up on the sniper right now, so I think that they're going to do the whole let's get a pick and then try and go left side and just use the range to try and force the med and take down that sentry gun. I think it's been spotted out by one of the players who peeked from lower. So it looks like Austin's out. The stickies are in fact dead from Disco Boys. He relays them in lower, and Zycast trying to pressure there. But Austin, he sort of spots the threat on the left there, and they're trying to angle Procky in right now from wherever he feels like he wants to go.
Yeah, it's just kind of peeking, prodding, doing whatever, like you said. We do have Procky just, taking some angles, trying to see what's going on. But, I mean, with Avogadro playing where he is, the sniper options are a little bit limited. Like you said, though, we do have the opportunity if he can tear off one guy's head, maybe open things up a little bit. I feel like it's almost a little bit surprising that Knoppers hasn't realized exactly how open this left-hand side is. This soldier won't really do anything. There's no sticks on the doorway now. Procky only now just about peeking it. Might even be able to get an easy frag towards Slowtown. Ooh, nearly craters there. We even have Jebs towards the low ground. Yeah, this is looking pretty good right now. Just taking all this position. Walking. Slowtown, the only real one to contest things. Only now does Disco Boy walk along. Not really getting anything, though.
Oh no, they lose Lycos there. If the heals came in a little bit earlier and they peeked a bit deeper, they would find something. With Procky also going down there. They can take that as a two-man sack, as we'll see if Lightclaw changes off Engineer. I doubt he will. And they might just decide to take an Uber trade pretty much immediately. Ooh is already out. There is no hesitation from him. He is out to the Badlands area. He's fighting up against Jebs right now. Manages to take him down. We are seeing Slowtown go in there, but the blue Uber still hasn't been popped. Austin going in deep for this one, as they do actually pop up this blue Uber right now, as they were going to get dropped there. And Slowtown going down. And that is going to be good for Wild Piggy right there.
That's pretty disastrous, actually. Losing 3 there when at worst it should have been equal trade, and it actually completely opens things up for this left side push. No soldiers on the side of the Russians. Chemical just only now getting up, but this gun's already down. The players are already towards the floor, and Cape is standing straight on point, getting so much cap time. It's only Chemical now just about able to deal with it. He gets 1 frag, but is it enough? Disco hitting some nice frags, but
beautiful.
Anything at all? Yeah, it's going to be the Brits capping us out, equalizing now.
Great call for Caper to go straight onto the point there to get that cap time going. There was no stickies on the point because he was just single dating, so great calls there from the Brit side to identify that, get that cap time and cause that pressure to happen because they just collapsed and didn't know what to do against it. It's a great push there from the Brits, and we'll see what happens here. It's 1-1, ladies and gentlemen, so it's still all to play for in this game, and we've got tons of time left on the clock, so it's going huge so far. Slowtown making his way into mid, and we have got the soldiers dueling in the kitchen area right now. They are playing Cooking Mama, and Chemical is in the backlands once more against Wild Piggy, and he is bombing in here and doesn't find any damage at all, but Austin is now heavily pressured by Ooh and just get taken down. Lightclaw is really low in kitchen. Procky and Caper are the only ones left alive, but they aren't deciding to run out of this one too soon. But Wild Piggy picking up that pack, Lightclaw going in to see if he can get this frag and does manage to find it, and that's going to be a wipe for the Brits.
Not the cleanest mid out of everything, but I feel like it all came down to the positioning there for the Russians. I mean, like, once they got that position on point, as much as Piggy lived for, I think about, I don't know, a solid 25 seconds longer than he perhaps should have. I think at one point he just walked over 2 stickies and just somehow didn't die. The positioning ultimately just won the whole thing, right? We do have a little backstab now, taking down Lightclaw and only Lightclaw. We even see the question mark in chat. Tiny little bit of banter going on, but I mean, does that scout really need anything here? This Uber advantage is still coming in. It ain't gonna make no difference, and yeah, it looks like quite possibly moving towards lower.
Indeed, they still want to go with this one, even though Lightclaw's only just respawned. They've popped out the Super and they are heading straight onto this heavy. Caper is just bouncing around here as Disco Boy only just now taking damage, and it looks like he's going to get pressured heavily by Lightclaw as he gets separated from the rest of his team. But it looks like Avogadro is still alive, healing up, and they are pressuring this point heavily. Tons of cap time for the blue side. Austin getting low, and he's the only one left alive, and that's going to be 2-1 to the Russians.
Cheeky little sword kill at the end. I want to shout out right now your boy Slowtown, who he was fairly weak, but he just stood on that hut spamming rockets down, right? Like, it's very tempting in that position to be like, oh yeah, I'll get on point as well. I'll be closer. I'll deal more damage. I'll get cap time. Nah, doesn't matter. As long as there's a soldier on that high ground and the Brits can contest him, that was one. All he had to do was stay there, keep holding down his left click button and shooting them rockets down, and secures that round for his team. So once again, nice little safety net, a little cushion for the Russians.
Yeah, big deeps coming out from the Russian soldiers. But Chemical doing the same thing once again, bombing in onto Austin. Tons of damage here. Slowtown gets absolutely munched there in the air. Chemical is managing to still stay alive. Caper is disconnected from Wild Piggy once again. They need to get this sorted out, otherwise they're just both going to die. And they're getting insanely low right here. Chased up, Wild Piggy goes down. Caper to follow, and that's going to be a wipe for the Brits.
These mids are so good. Like, the damage done, I think that was about a 600 damage mid from a Chemical, and only slightly less on the side of Slowtown. Like, The second they jumped in deep, synced up those rockets, and just dealt that just like carpet bomb of damage, you can see there was no opportunity for Piggy to go forward. How is Austin feeding now as well? To Disco Boy of all people.
Oh no.
I don't understand how you lose your demo in that situation now. That's so scary. I mean, it's going to be so much now on Procky to get something in this Uber. He doesn't even hit the shot now as well. Uber gets used. There's no stickies towards point. The rest of the Brits are just playing all the way around. They're cleaning up 2 frags already. Austin only now alive, but is it going to be too little? Way too late. The stickies, they're doing a lot, but it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, that was a big mistake from Austin there to get caught out right there. That was awful from him. And while Piggy didn't have anyone to rotate him either, so it took forever for him to get across that point to heal up the rest of his team while he spawned. And just unfortunate there from the Brits. They need to like regather their thoughts and get going on this game, because eventually the Russians are going to run away with it, because it's 3-1 now for them. Disco Boy heading in from lower as well.
Yeah, you say unfortunate for the Brits, but I think this is just good, solid play from the Russians. They're doing everything they need to. And once again, on this mid, you see Deep Soldier getting nice and aggressive onto Procky, but this time Procky's a little bit aware. As a result, the initiation not as good for the Russians, and they're not really able to take this extended fight. Avogadro desperately trying to get out all by his lonesome. He's got a soldier chasing him 30 HP. Surely there's no way he gets out here. Surely there's no way. Whew.
Whew. Oh, we are seeing the block right now, though. Disco Boy managed to take down Procky on the mid. And Caper is going to have to take this 1v1. Demo Man vs Scout MG comes into play. Oh my god! Caper nearly gets fragged there by Disco Boy. Nice pipe and sticky combo from him. Zycaz going into lower. They want to clean him up. Oh, he finds the frag. Oh my god, Disco Boy.
His brain is huge. He's actually hitting a genuine, obscene amount of pipes and damage. Like, even just looking at things, I feel like he's quietly nuking this game. You know, same as last game, really.
Yeah. He's doing insane. Like, he did insane last game. He's doing insane this game. So I'm glad to see it coming up from him. He's been an excellent player in a lot of tournaments that I've casted, and doing really well in this too. So I'm excited to see him going forwards. And Avogadro and Wild Piggy, roughly even Ubers, but I mean, it could go either way, because they are now dry pushing on this grass area to see if they can get some bombs out. Chemical goes in deep onto Wild Piggy, and they don't find him just yet. The Slowtown getting it as well. Wild Piggy with the jukes!
Piggy!
Oh my god,
what
his
a god
movement.
gamer himself. He literally just danced around like a madman, and 3 gentlemen just completely fed into him. He didn't take more than 100 damage that entire situation. Absolutely perfect. Now they've got the Uber. I mean, it's not even a significant advantage. There's only 3 players up on the side of our Russian friends now. They're just like getting these spawners. Actually, the first frag goes towards the Russians, so it's a little bit scary. It's such a scrappy fight. Everything's going on. It's all coming down to who's hitting their shots. Right now, it's going to be the Russians.
Yeah, so many players in the red there. We have, in fact, got the spy coming out here, as Gems is cloaked in lower. He's going to be going for this backhand play. Slowtown is above the point, though. There's no way he can go for it. Very unfortunate.
Actually just hit the 400 IQ rocket. It was a random pre-fire. Literally hit Jeeves directly in the face. I don't know if Slowdown was looking towards it, but it actually completely just like, you know, the second that happened, Jeeves just like right about. Like, I'm spotting up there.
Yeah, Ooh actually spotted him in lower as well. So even if he didn't spot him, they now know that there is a spy on the playing field right now, and he can't run all the way back to change. In fact, is he running? He is running all the way back to change. Actually, he's all the way back at spawn. He's committed. He wants to be back on Soldier. Oh my god.
In fairness, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right? Right now, if you're expecting a spy, you're going to spend the entire time looking around like, oh, what's going on? What's happening here? What's happening there? You know, like you're going to be constantly checking your back. If they, okay, right now they go for a fast, like, 1 soldier fake, 1 soldier commit sack. That's actually the big brain play, right? Because they're not going to be expecting 2 soldiers. This time, nope, he's just jumping in straight through lower. He might as well be a spy because he's behind him again.
He is in
what
deep,
is
deep,
going
deep.
on?
Yeah, he's running into Z to try and get Disco Boy, but doesn't find anything at all. Avogadro took a teeny tiny amount of damage right there, and nothing much else happened. But we have got Disco Boy having to reload all of his stuff because he did debt his trap but didn't find anything with it. And this time we're just going to see stalemate going forwards, but actually no, they Uber through and lower, and they do force the Uber of the red side. And there's been more flashes on the side. In fact, oh my god, he munched Austin, and that is a huge misstep there.
Yeah, how does that even happen? Now that completely opens things up for this repush. Now Soldier's getting through this doorway completely for free. Wild Piggy once again just about managing to live, but the nuke from Disco Boy, he's like, no boys, not today. He's hitting one, he's hitting another. He even stickies towards his scout.
Oh my god.
Wrecking shop right now. Yeah, he's an angry dog bull in a China shop. He's every kind of animal, but the Soldier's in, Chiefs. not hitting his rockets.
Oh, Disco Boy again with the pipes, though. Who cares, man? Jesus Christ. That was insane. The Russians really pulling out of the bag here. I'm seriously just eating my words from, like, all of the games that were played. This is genuinely nuts. I'd like to see them going for the second push right here, just going before they even have the Uber. They are playing really passively right here, but Chemical's spotting out, noticing that no one's forward, and is going to make the first move in. Takes that pipe, Zykas with the counter jump. Very well played from him to just knock him off the pipe and slow down their aggression, slow down, just taking in that grass area, and Lightclaw as well, pressuring that point. We're seeing the bomb through from Jebs. Avogadro pops Uber so he doesn't crater. Nice force from Jebs right there.
I don't think he would have cratered there. I think his strafe was good, but he didn't believe in himself. Avogadro, but man, you got to trust in yourself a little bit more. But
whoa,
how does Disco Boy do this every single time?
Disco Boy, man, that bomb was massive. Oh my god, he just takes out Austin and Wild Piggy in one huge leap. That was nuts.
That's not actually possible. Like, they got into last with about 10% Uber remaining. Disco Boy just jumps in. Like, 4-1. It's 4-1 now. The Russians are looking so comfortable. And after, you know, the craziest first map ever, right now, you're looking at the Brits and you're like,
Disco Boy, what is he doing?
Okay, Disco Boy, you got to settle down, dude. You got to chill. Like, this is too much.
This is too much. Zykas is in on low right now. Until Avogadro, they take him down pretty much immediately. Jeb's going down as well. Zykas manages to finally get cleaned up by the scouts, and Ooh is actually in this kitchen area, coming in to kill Wild Piggy. Can he find the frag? He gets knocked all the way back. Nice surf from Wild Piggy. But oh my god, Chemical! Oh my lord, it's chaos.
What is going on? They've just dialed it up. The Russians are like, right, this is vintage. This is old school Russian, right? Get White Glow in here with his crit streak. I want to see some frags.
This is vintage Russian gameplay right here. It's what we love to see. Someone get the USSR anthem ready for when they win this game, apparently, because it's 4-1 and not a lot, 15 minutes on the clock, so they can still get it, but it's not looking likely. And they managed to reclaim this second point from the Russian side, and the Brits need to come up with a plan, and we are seeing a Kritzkrieg from Wild Piggy.
Oh, I mean, I did for a second I think that the Russians had read my mind, but it turns out, you know, the Brits are taking a bit of Russian for themselves. Somehow in all of this, though, I mean, they're on crits, but they only have about a 10% advantage. They're gonna have to proper dot pushes and focus the frags really quickly. Otherwise, it's just gonna be a complete recontest from Avogadro with his massive Uber advantage. He's so far back as well. This is so difficult, but we're gonna be going on through, walking all the way towards grass. No crits has been used as of yet. In fact, the rest of the players just walked out, and once again, we're just jumping in, trying to commit to Wild Piggy. I don't think they even know he's on crits. Finally, the scout, the Uber gets used. Headshots are coming out as well. Wild Piggy somehow behind them. He's still got his crit streak. This is just absolutely ridiculous. How is he living?
Whoa! They pop it out. Procky's going nuts. He's meat-shotting everyone. Actually, now starts beefing, but pulls out that winger for the consistency right there. Onto Lightclaw. Takes him down too. That is going to be the crit streak going directly into last, but it's only Caper and Wild Piggy actually fighting against 3 players on last. They need some backup right here. On this point, Austin is nowhere to be seen. Caper gets fragged. And that's just unfortunate there, but Avogadro did in fact die, and they've still got this 20% crit sad to work with, which is going to be a 35% crit sad with the buff.
Right, that was... I don't even know what that was. That was a whole bunch of something. Yeah, like you said, we've got another crit advantage again. This time, you know, I feel like the Russians are just taking a moment just to calm down a little bit. They're just going to build a gun, they're going to build up their own Uber, play a little bit chill a second, because they know exactly what they're dealing with here. They know they're dealing with a crits, they know what's going to happen, you know, it's going to be most likely something like far right or possibly drop down. They can predict what's going to happen here. I feel like them getting caught out at this point would be almost, not entirely inexcusable, but, you know, pretty close to it.
Yeah, here we go. They are going to look to angle for this crit screw right now. Wild Piggy getting low. They haven't popped out this one just yet. And the Uber is creeping up here for Avogadro. So it looks like he's going to get this one. And knowing the Russians, they're probably just going to Uber directly into them as soon as they get this one. But Austin is trying to peek there. Can't quite find anything. He's now angling for this crit screw, but he's so low. He's just going to get fragged as soon as they do pop it and get collapsed upon. As they pop out this crits, Austin's still low. The Uber is popped from Avogadro. They don't find anything apart from a dispenser with it, as you could say is the most valuable pick in the game. Chemical going forwards onto Austin, managing to push him back. And it's just going to be a complete reset from both sides.
No, it isn't. It's going to be a repush. Disco Boy read it like a book. One says Sticky takes down one. Another pipe. He does get taken down himself. So now, no damage towards point. And the repush once again. Where it's not stopping at all. Ah, this is difficult though, right? Their spawners aren't quite in a position. Obviously, the spawners on the side of blue looking way better. They're more or less already there. And yeah, this is going to be backing up. Once again, another shot for the crit advantage push. But Oh god, they're not making it easy. Slow down and Chemicals thinking up these rockets, taking down Austin, denying this entire angle, and now it's like you've got this Chris advantage, but what do you use it on?
Yeah, Austin cannot catch a break, it would appear, in this game. Like, he's just getting caught out in so many situations where they need him alive, especially in these points where they have Kritzkrieg. Like, you can't necessarily decide you're going to Kritzkrieg a soldier into a sentry gun. Like, it just doesn't work. Whereas with the demo, it's a little bit more plausible because Demo Man's so good at taking down those structures. But Chemical already pressuring spots out. Austin moving towards the drop down area, so they're going to start to heavily pressure this area before the Kritzkrieg even comes out and keep it on. But like I said before, yeah, that's exactly what I called before. They're just going to Uber directly into them if they know where they are and they have this Uber charge available to them. Just massive read from the Russians there.
Yeah, I mean, what else was going to happen? You know, you walk in, Crits doesn't prevent any damage. I mean, when I was seeing some little trades, a possible little back cap, but no, slow down. He's playing slow, he's checking his angles. Going to deny any opportunity for that. We do actually have this one scout Procky all the way towards last, but he's just a little bit too slow. This gun's up as well. Like Claw, he's never leaving last, so you can see how much the Russians are like, nah, man, we'll do our own thing, but we're not letting you back up. We've got no interest in that at all.
Ooh. Okay, Slowtown manages to find Procky in the backlines, which is a huge pick for the Russians. Which is very useful for them if they're going into this mid, because they're only fighting up against 3 players, as the rest of them are all spawners, and Jebs is getting an arrow in the corner, jumping around, failing his jump. Actually, he beefs it a little bit, and is having to like surf all the way back there in towards Saw, and just drops back out into a second and manages to survive that one. But it is going to be uber advantage to the side of the Russians, and they could make this 5-1 if they play it correctly.
Yeah, no reason why not. Not really enough advantage to think too much about trying to take the point for free and continuing to last. It might just be a case of if they can see enough players close, which there are a few, they might just look to jump through and just kind of commit all the way. No, the stickies from Austin read him like a book. A drop there for Avogadro, and the rest of the Russian players might just get collapsed upon here.
Well, Piggy, he's actually still on Kritzkrieg, and they do pop this one out onto Caper as he finds Lightclaw. And looks like they are going to just barrel their way all the way through. Disco Boy's actually set up some stickies.
I'm terrified.
He's sat in the corner with his skull.
He is just standing there. I mean, no one's going to predict him behind, right? No one predicts a Demo Man behind Disco Boy. This spawner's going to start coming in for Zikaz. He takes out one. Now he's going to jump in. No, there's no way he gets this right. He's playing towards his high ground. He gets his damage towards... Oh, but he doesn't quite take down the medic. Now the rest of the Russians, they try and collapse forward. They get this one frag, but they're only really trading. Jeeves is well playing from top. He's got so much height, so much position. The damage is all coming out. And this is looking good for the Brits to keep control of this. Every time you think things are going to slow down, they're like, no, we're just going to keep on pushing, never stop.
Yeah, the Russians, they always commit with like full force. They never like half-ass these like sack plays that they do, where they just decide they're going to just barrel through. They go through as a cohesive unit. They don't go through one by one, and I think that's what makes it so potent. But well, Piggy with the movement there to survive against those pills. But they're still on this Kritzkrieg. I think no, actually he decided he was going to pick up the medigun of the enemy team, so they're back on Uber now.
I just want to shout out the fact that they fed their demo in a weird behind play and then fed 2 more. It's still equal Ubers. This left side push is not easy at all. Disco Boy just jumping in again. Dude's just like, he's got no off switch, but I mean, he dies really for no Uber advantage whatsoever. Now they're just going to start moving all the way towards point. This is pretty scary right now for the Russians, even if it is 4 versus 4. They do finally get themselves a little player advantage. This time, Zikaz is jumping towards point, not really hitting what he needs to. That little bit of damage won't be enough, but I mean, it's crazy that they hold that, but surely at some point, KNOPPERS is going to sort this out.
Yeah, they need to come up with the plan and come up with the plan fast, because they've got 8 minutes on the clock, so they've roughly got about 2 minutes around that they need to try and pull out if they want to win this game. But if they want to take the golden cap, they've got a bit more time to play with, but they need to make something happen now because it's not looking good for them. Jebs is in fact poking out the wall with his original there, if you can see that. Chemical's actually in on mid though, trying to make something happen, try and get a sack going, but does in fact just frag himself. Jebs is in fact going in right here, doesn't really find too much, just gets killed. Just going to be another reset coming out, but we'll probably see the Zikaz brain kick in and they'll want to push this one as Disco Boy gets fragged there by Caper, by him just running in there, and that is unfortunate for the Russians because this could in fact lead to a last push if they were hasty about it, which they are, and they're heading in towards the left hand side really early, taking all of that room. They've got Austin on the beam and they've just taken Uber trade right here as Caper is going to be taking most of this one along with Austin just flashing around, but this Russian Uber is much better and they didn't really flash anyone. Chemical was in really deep, tons of damage from Chemical, and Lightclaw with a cleanup there, and it is just going to be a massive crunch fest. On the left-hand side, nice air shot from Jebs to keep Wild Piggy alive, but the arrow coming out from Avogadro as well to keep Disco Boy healthy, and totally denies that last push.
I have a question.
Yes.
Have you seen Disco Boy do anything for the last 10 minutes which isn't sticky jump into the enemy team?
No.
There was that sticky trap bit, right? But I feel like that was just because the ceiling was too low for him to effectively jump.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think
we've worked out his strat, right? If at some point there can be a counter to the Demo Man sticky jumping in, I think we'll have this.
Yes, I think there just needs to be some direct hits being equipped from the Red Soldiers. I think that'll solve the problem. Some anti-air fire will do quite nicely. But the Brits are heading in on the grass area now, but Austin just gets instantaneously fragged and just gets entirely baited. But we are seeing the wraparound from the entire Russian Uber, actually, as they did have to pop that one out, unfortunately. Well, Piggy is nowhere near getting his Uber, and they're about to get entirely caught out by players going in from grass, and they're getting pincer maneuvered right now by Slowtown and co, and this is looking like an absolute disaster for the Brits. Zykas gets taken down as well, Procky getting low, Caper getting low as well. Looking unfortunate for them right now as U picks up another frag on an 8k currently, as he is probably going to pick up Caper as well. And in fact, Caper takes down Avogadro with the pistol whip.
How did he possibly do that? How did he possibly get through to do that? That doesn't make any sense at all. That should never be allowed. And yet somehow he manages to do it. Now, I mean, there's frags all over the flank. Everyone's just trading here, there, everywhere. We've got this Wild Piggy spawn. I mean, it's 5 minutes 30 left on the clock. All of this stuff, all of these, little positives they get themselves on the side of Knoppers, it's going to be nothing if they can't start converting some of these rounds. They have this Uber advantage. They have second, right? They need to cap that, secure that, and they need to be fast now. Otherwise, like you said, it's getting to the point where even getting for a golden cap is going to be really difficult.
Oh my god, Austin nearly gets fragged in lower there by Disco Boy. Disco Boy going down. Very unfortunate there. Well, Piggy picking out this overcharge right now, but I think they're just going to go with this one. They have the pick that they needed. They've got 5 minutes left on the clock and they need to make something happen. They are getting pressure onto the central government. Austin goes down again in a situation where you don't want your Demo Man dying. Jeff's going in there onto Slowtown. Very miscoordinated. Zykas going in as well, trying to find something onto Chemical, but doesn't really find too much, but Procky with the cleanup. And Slowtown retaking that water tower. And it's just a very big misplay from Austin there to die.
Oh my god, once again, they're even losing a player as they walk in. Finally, they do trade it with Disco Boy. I mean, this Uber's out, they're getting two. Only 3 remaining players on the side of the Russians. This Uber's getting close and goes for Avogadro. The one saving grace is the fact it's not healing, but it doesn't matter. Because the gun's still up and the heavy's still up. And none of these players are going to do anything at all to these remaining Russians. They get a little bit of damage here and there, but they don't convert a single frag in the second part of that fight. And now 4 minutes left on the clock. I mean, there's only so many times you can batter your face against a brick wall before you think, right, guys, this ain't right. We need something wildly different. It needs to be now. Honestly, right now, if you want to go direct hit, you go direct hit. If you want to go Huntsman, you go Huntsman, because you just need to do what feels right.
Yeah, let's get some heavies out here on the field. Let's get some more spies, some more snipers. Let's make something happen. As the Russians actually heed your advice, and they come on the Frontier Justice crits. They don't care about you. Zykas gets taken down. Austin here getting just peppered down by this Frontier Justice. Lightclaw going in with the pistol whip, now taken down, but Avogadro is actually going to pick up that frag for his team, and they have in fact already come second. But the Timmy 2-shot Caper himself was coming and killed Avogadro. U going down as well. Caper claiming all those frags, but Lightclaw with the Frontier Justice. Holy moly.
Oh, I can't believe it. In that engagement, Lightclaw just built a gun. He put his gun down and just waited for the gun to get built. That's actually, this is filthy. This is getting in your head. 3 minutes 30, come on. Right, we need something like, I'm not going to say something completely different because I feel like a broken record right now, but they just need to secure things, right? Having Jeeves jump in, when none of his team's within, that's not the kind of stuff we need. We need coordinated play. We need teams together, focusing one by one by one, right? There's a gun up. That means there's an engineer. The engineer's not really going to be able to, frag as well as the others, but they're just all going in different angles. They're taking the fights 1v1. They're losing more players, and now, I mean, they have 3. They have 3 against the gun. They've got, Uber pretty soon, but it's going to be difficult. Even in the best of times, once again, Disco Boy's jumping in.
Disco Boy's in once more, man. Onto Wild Piggy gets the damage and he gets taken down and cleaned up by U right there on the grass area. Caper also taking a bunch of damage. There is some Russian slander in the chat that I don't understand. And Chemical just getting onto Caper, and Caper just suicides. And like you said, it's they need to read these situations correctly, but there is now no longer time, eepily. It's over.
It's absolutely brutal. There's still time for at least some sympathy rounds here. Zykas is going to start trying to do things, get that one frag, not going to secure the second even in this post game. The Russians, they're too quick on the old reflexes, Their 360's got to be a couple centimeters. They're just flicking all over the shop. Going to be building themselves a brew advantage. And honestly, yeah, they could even make this a 5-1.
Yeah, it's they can push it all the way. Let's see if they decide to. But they've got this level 3 Light Claw sentry gun up on the mid right now. On the box, they're just chilling out and getting those dispenser heals out, getting that ammo, and Light Claw also getting a frag onto Caper there on the mid. And some more Russian slander in the chat right there. Austin now moving forwards. This Ubercharge has been popped out from the blue side while Piggy getting taken down as well. And we are seeing Chemical in last on his own with the Zuba against Zycaz. And he is just knocking them around everywhere. Austin is still insanely low. But Chemical looks like he's going to get crushed right now. But in fact, actually doesn't die there. And just gets totally Light Claw is in!
Light Claw is in. He's building his robot. He's like, right, boys, don't you worry. I am the one-man army. Myself, my gun doesn't even watch traffic. He's just going to cap it from underneath them.
5-1, ladies and gentlemen. It's now 1 minute 20 left on the clock. There is no coming back in this one, and the Russians are in BN City right now.
Yep, they're feeling themselves. They want to see if they can't, get something else added to their eTouch account before the end of the season. But yeah, this is gonna be all that she wrote. This will be the Russians after a catastrophic losing the first map in 9 minutes 20 seconds to a 5-0. They come back and they win it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of insane how you come back from that insane map 1 where Gullywash looks so convincing for the Brits, where they just absolutely annihilated them, and to come into this and witness the Russians going absolutely ham on them is kind of nuts. Like, having the sheer will to come back, win Badlands, and then crush as hard as you did with Disco Boy on Snakewater even is just incredible, and I take my hat off to them, honestly.
Yeah, fair play, fair play. I mean, I'm enjoying this post game friendly banter. Let's say friendly banter. It's the dying seconds of the game, the dying seconds of the season for these teams. They want to go out in a blaze of glory, and I think there's not a great deal left to be said for the game, other than it was well played. We saw some crazy stuff here and there. We saw some flamboyant off-classing. We saw some aggressive plays. We saw the return of vintage Russian TF2, and I mean, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun casting this one. So very electric games throughout this one, apart from Gullywash, which is an absolute murder fest. But I think if you're the Brits, you sort of take that one on the chin. You're like, yeah, actually, we did get kind of a bit destroyed on Snake, but they can take away the fact they played really well on Badlands and Gullywash. They did really well, so I wouldn't be holding your head in shame for that one. But who cares when the Russians have managed to take 2 seasons of mid in a row, and can anyone stop them? eepily, do you think during the next season, which will be season 34?
I mean, we're gonna have to find out. I mean, who even knows what Washington's gonna be in mid next season? That's a big question.
There'll be one.
I'm not equipped to answer this kind of stuff.
There'll be one. There'll be a Russian team in there somewhere. But yeah, so GG, well played from both teams. And have we got any interviews here, Mr. Gemm?
I believe we do have just a couple. I think we're gonna sidle straight past the logs. I feel like we've already told the story as it needs to be told. Instead, we're gonna let some of the players tell us their side of things. We've got Wild Piggy and Austin here from the team that is Knoppers.
Hello.
Hi. So we were just talking about how I would say a game of 2 halves, but it wasn't quite halves. It was definitely a complete departure between map 1 and map 2. Gullywash, you guys were absolutely destroying. I'm not 100% certain. I assume that was your guys' map pick, because you guys looked incredibly confident.
Yeah, that was our map pick, and theirs was Prolands, and then the decided would end up being Snake, which we sacrificed them picking Prolands on the basis that we could play Gully, because we knew Gully is our best map by far.
Yeah.
And so we were certain we'd have that one, but Prolands, we expected to lose that, and Snake was going to be a 50-50 sort of thing. So
it definitely seemed pretty crazy. Prolands, it felt really, really back and forth after the incredibly dominant Gullywash performance. Like you said, obviously you already said you were expecting Prolands to not particularly go your way, and Snake, even as a 50-50, it felt like things were a little bit rough from the start. You guys couldn't get particularly comfortable on mids. What was was it kind of feeling out of the ordinary in terms of like how you approach Snakewater mids, or was it just a case of what you're doing wasn't quite working, you couldn't really find solutions? What did it feel like over the course of the game?
Our initial plan that I put forward, we decided to change as we were rolling out. So, and that meant putting double scout on catwalk, which didn't work out in our favor as I got bombed straight away and died from the first mid. That was like the factor for that mid, and then that round just caused that, because then we literally just after that and losing our mid, we just started discussing the next mid. We tried something else that didn't work. Then I suggested we do a double solly high bomb and all just walk forward and ignore the sollies when they go behind. Then we again on the rollout we decided to change that again. Snake just started falling away from us. We kept testing mids and then losing the mids, and that was it. Rounds were being given away. So yeah.
Yeah, well, it did seem sort of that way. You guys had a bunch of different mids that you tried to try out, but it came down to quite a lot of like the soldiers bombing behind, and then you guys did deal with it quite well. But I think the Russians they did play against you guys really well. They did read you kind of like insanely well actually. But I'm gonna go on to a more even map actually, because when you're on Badlands, the mids went both ways. So on your Badlands mids, was there any sort of set strategy on your first one? Because I saw you all backed up into choke. Is that something you guys practice quite a lot?
Usually the entire season, our first mid has always been a passive mid. That's just any map, whatever it is. We always play a passive mid. We see what they do first, and then if we lose that mid, we know, like, because we've got time to play the next mid. Like, we're not short on time at that point, so we change things up then, because knowing how they play. So that's what we do on every map. But we weren't getting any aggression on the demo at all on mids, and like their demo would 2-sticky our mid straight away, bring him down to like 40 HP. He'd back off for a pack. Our scouts would back off with our mid. Our solis would do a double bomb. They'd just be feeding because people were obviously playing with our mid passively, and yeah, they'd clean them up well and then started going forward, and that was kind of it.
Yeah, it was really well structured mid overall in my opinion. So I just thought I'd point that. Also, on your first last push that you had, where you decided to not use your full Uber advantage and you opted to get 2 spies instead, is that just spur of the moment? We crushed them on Gullywash cockiness, or was that actually something you wanted to plan?
Well, we were gonna use in, but then I think Jeeves died, and on a last like that where we were trying to strategize around what our own was gonna do, we decided, as we're gonna have time, like if the double spy went wrong again, it's the start of the game, we've got time, so we can use these sort of gimmicks.
Pretty sure we were expecting that since Jeeves died, if we waited for him to respawn, there would be a chance that the enemy got Uber, so we just decided just straight away not to push in and just go for the spies.
Yeah. As I said, I mean, it makes sense. It looked like honestly, I feel like it could have worked if the spy decloaks were slightly more coordinated. If there wasn't such a bit of a disjointed decloak between them, maybe there was a decent chance. But I mean, it was exciting, exciting if nothing else. Obviously, this season for you guys has been pretty good as a whole. You did, get through the grand finals. As much as you were a little bit eked out at the end, it presumably is a pretty good experience. Did you at least enjoy the season? Are you looking forward to moving forward as a team next season?
Well, we enjoyed last season enough to play together again this season, but no, this is well, I'm leaving TF2 because I'm away working from September, so I literally can't play. Otherwise I would play, but I physically cannot, so I won't be playing. However, I've told the rest of them that they should just find a new demo, a main caller, and someone who can lead the team, and then go forward into Div 2, because I think they'd do pretty well as a team, especially as they have the advantage that they've already played a season or two under with each other, and they'd have that advantage. I think that's what gave us an advantage this season. Like, we didn't go into it expecting. We expected to try and make playoffs, but we didn't expect to make final, and we just found out we were just more coordinated than majority of other teams, and there was some really good teams like Street Devils. They're really good bunch of Czech players, but the reason they started losing to us is because they didn't we had such good coordination with, and I've been telling them that you won't get that if you just all go and find different teams. You won't have that same coordination, so you already have that advantage. You should just stay together and find your demo. But I think they were planning on doing something, but I know Piggy, you're moving away, aren't you?
Yeah,
leaving
it's gonna
the
be
team.
complicated for me.
Hello, video gamers.
Hello. And
Здравствуйте, товарищ.
I think Porky's not played Highlands season and probably won't play next season. So, but I've still told the other three they should try and do something.
I mean, it makes sense, you know. It makes sense if, as much as possible, if you can keep a team together and go forward. We have one spur of the moment guest. I do not recognize the name LC50.
That's an alias because I'm fan of YZ50. He used to be.
Of course, you are.
Yeah, I am. I used to use his configs like for half a year before.
I'm gonna take it that you are the infamous Lightclaw. Obviously, you know,
yeah, I am.
Slightly late to the interviews, but you know, fashionably late is always.
Yeah, because nobody
always
wanted to go to interview, since nobody uses Mumble in Russia for some reason. I don't know why. So
well, I mean,
we were in TeamSpeak deciding who's going to interview. So, and I was the only one who had Mumble.
Well, we'll take it as we get it. How does it feel being mid-division grand final victors?
Well, I personally don't know. I didn't do much since I just washed my mousepad and could do much because of that.
You washed your mousepad. That is probably one of the.
To me, that's a disaster. I couldn't do much.
I haven't heard that excuse in a long time, especially an excuse from a victor. So I mean, maybe everyone, you know, looking forward to next season if you can wash your mousepad a little bit.
Well, who knows? I have to go to university now.
Oh boy.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. So, Lightclaw, I feel like you actually fragged during those games, especially on Snake War. You were like,
well, not Snake, but maps now. Not
you
much.
You were destroying, man. How was it in sort of like team coordination against you guys when you were going to get up against them on mids and stuff? Did you have like a plan sorted out before you even went in?
We knew that we couldn't counter our aggression. You know, like they were aggressive, kind of. Their soldiers just jumped around and tried to do damage, but instead we just backed off and we could send our soldiers behind them and just go forward, and they couldn't counter that.
Yeah, it did seem like you were saying like chemical behind each time, weren't you? And it was just kind of destructive. They get a bunch of damage onto Wild Piggy, and I feel for you, Wild Piggy, because how did you feel when Disco Boy started bombing you every 5 seconds of the game?
At least
yeah,
it
that
was
also part
mostly
of the plan.
when the game was over, pretty much. So
yeah,
I don't know. Most of the kills on Snakewater, most of my deaths, I mean, were pretty much when we had said, "Oh well, we can't do anything."
We did expect him to start doing that because he did that during the grand final of last season. So.
He's got his gimmick, you know. He's got his gimmick and he sticks to it. I'm kind of thinking I've only really got one more question. This is for everyone before I guess we start to wrap things up, and that is the only question that's ever going to matter when we're this far into August. LAN boys, Austin LAN boys.
Yeah, I'm going LAN with Porky and playing with Hoy, James, Hans, and Swanee.
Beast.
So, yeah.
Fair play. Are we going to see you attending LAN, Mr. Lightclaw?
I will be attending Moscow LAN, but not Insomnia. I can't afford the tickets.
No.
Pretty understandable. Considering,
well, at least I was at Copenhagen, at least.
Yeah. Not going to complain of that. Wild Piggy, we're going to see you at LAN?
Well, there are talks of a Portugal LAN, but I don't know what's happening with that. Insomnia this year, I don't think I'm going. Maybe next year though.
It's always unfortunate to hear, but you know, I feel like you have an honorary position at LAN anyway. You know, I'm sure you'll be in everyone's heart. Is that a thing? Can I say that?
Yes,
Probably
you can
not.
say that. That's fine.
Can I say that?
Yeah, you can say that.
That's very kind.
It's very poetic and probably not true. Right, I think we're going to start wrapping things up so we can let people get on with the rest of their lives. If you're happy to, Lucky.
Yes, I am happy to wrap things up. Any shout-outs from you, eepily?
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let everyone else do their shout-outs first.
Oh,
because I'm such a nice boy. I'm going to hold the door open and I'm going to let Austin do some shout-outs first.
Oh, right. I got shout-outs to Monkey Mode, my team, and the Russians for giving us a good last game.
Yeah, it was good fun. It was great to watch. I feel like you know, it's definitely worth rewatching and checking out chat a few times because chat was absolutely feeling some of those plays. You know, they were getting into it. Lightclaw, have you got any shout outs you want to give people?
Special shout outs to ETF2L admins for putting us in Div 2, not putting into Div 2. We wanted to go there, but we said we are inferior. И спасибо всем товарищам, которые писали нам в чате.
Right, moving swiftly on to Wild Piggy.
Yeah, shout out to Chic. És uma merda, retardado de merda. Espero que morras e que ninguém esteja lá no teu funeral. And shout out to my dog Mishka.
Oh.
Okay, shout out to your dog as well. Lucky, go on. Give me some shout outs.
Shouts to you, eepily, for cussing with me tonight. Shouts to Gemm for producing. Shouts to Chat for being awesome. Shouts to i65 and Essentials.tf for doing the production for that one. Big shoutouts to Wanzu's dog as well, the best Highlander team in mid. Woo! And yeah, that's all my shoutouts.
Okay, well, I'm going to round us up with, obviously, thanks to you guys for interviewing, for casting with me, for sitting there, Gemm, and breaking your own internet and shouting when his game crashed. Obviously, the teams, it was good fun. People sitting there enjoying stuff in chat. And importantly, shout out to the fact that we have the Div 1 Grand Finals, I believe, happening tomorrow. That is going to be Kermit and Grumpy Koi casting that as well. So that is going to be an absolute fat game. You guys are going to check that out on TFTV 1. But until then, yeah, GG's, and we'll see you guys next time.